there's really not too many games on there where you're just going, yeah, we'll win that one. And we're going to have to earn them all. And I think the guys know that and are excited about that. And, when you start a new season, you kind of push the one from the year before behind you. And, it was a great year last year, just didn't finish, the way we wanted it. So another opportunity, a lot of new players, probably a little bit of uh, a little period where we have to, continue to bond, but I feel good about where we're at as a team. And, and I guess modern day Division I baseball at this level, there's always going to be so many roster changes. You just never know how it's going to go. But if fall is any indication, the team seems to be close and probably about as close as we could hope this time with this many new guys. So just really looking forward to getting it going.
Go ahead.
Dave, will y'all be breaking out the parkas on Sunday, or do you anticipate a schedule change this weekend?
Yeah, we're going to do I think we're going to announce something today I think at 1:30. So probably not supposed to say anything till that, but I guess common sense probably would go that way if you look at it.
And have you settled on your rotation for this weekend?
Yes. And we've actually exchanged with Washington State and we'll go with Gackle. Game 1, game 2 will be Root, 3 will be Wood, and 4 will be Bottle Cheese.
And what kind of went into the decision? I think we mostly knew Gackle, Root would be 1, 2. What went into the decision to that order with Wood and Bile Cheese?
Yeah, I think there wasn't a whole lot to making that decision, honestly. It was just we have 4 games this weekend. The difference between 3 and 4, it's more of we want to go right-hander the first game. We want to go lefty, come back with a righty, and then a lefty. It's there's no science to it, so to speak. Wood's been really good. We've hit him a little bit lately. I think he's been frustrated, but his stuff's been good. I think when you start to see our guys swinging the bats against our own pitching, we get pretty familiar with them, and sometimes that happens a little bit. So excited about those 4, and it's there's a lot of games and things could change, and I'm sure they will some. And but I feel good about our bullpen as well. So we feel good about the guys coming off of them.
Yeah, just I guess with Vital Cheese and Wood in particular, I mean, are you telling them like, hey, this week 1 the competition kind of continues, or is most of the competition by now it's you've had all fall and spring?
I've let Coach Hobbs handle that, and he met with all of our starters, those 4, and talked to them about this weekend, and maybe there was some why we're doing this in there. He just said it went good, so we didn't go and get into detail about it. I think our guys are just team guys, and that's what we've been preaching since they walked in the door, and probably before we signed them or committed them, that's what we're all about here. And when you get 2 kids showing up that are one's pitching number 1 in the rotation and one's pitching number 2 behind a first rounder that was draft eligible, I think that shows a little bit about their character and that they are team guys. They knew that we had Gackle coming back, and he was projected to be pretty good here, and they still came. So I feel good about where we're at there mentally.
It seems like in the outfield, like you could play both Diggs and Pepe out there, but you, especially in the scrimmages, have had Justin Thomas playing in left. What is it about him that makes him such a a valuable piece and fitting everybody around like that?
Which one? Pepe
Justin Thomas.
Thomas is a really good base runner. He's an outstanding defender, and he's a good hitter. He's really streaky. When he first got here, he wanted to pull everything, and he's swinging and missing and doing things, pulling off the ball. But he's made some adjustments. He's been really coachable and really likable. And what I mean by that is, when you have kids that want to get better and, they're not hung up on playing center field or, pouting around because we got pushed to left because Davlin had played so well since the day he walked in the door. He just continued to get better. And I knew he was going to be our center fielder, at least starting the season, because I knew he was going to be in the lineup. If they both would have walked in the door hot as can be and just done great, it made it a little tougher on me, but they're both good outfielders. But, I think Thomas is a guy that he just brings a lot to the game, because he's got some tools. He can steal a base for you. He can make a play. He can hit a home run, all fields, and he's going to hit some doubles and triples. So he's valuable. And, just to answer your question before you asked me, Pepe's starting at first.
You read my mind. So the Washington State, what have you, researched so far? Can you give us a little brief scouting report on what they bring?
Our scouting report is brief, to the point where, if we wanted to do some shifting in the infield, so to speak, we really can't do it yet. We don't have enough info. There's not enough on these guys because there's so few at bats to go by. Their starting pitcher, we have 3 pitches, and that's him throwing in a fall scrimmage, I think, or maybe it was junior college. This is what we're dealing with. We don't have a bunch of swings against him to go off of, and so what you do is you just play baseball and you kind of set them up straight up out there and you watch swings and see what they're doing. You make notes, and maybe game 2 you do a little more, or maybe the third at bat you do something different. But you don't think they have any overpowering type arms. They're going to have guys who are going to throw in the low 90s like everybody, and but we know that they're going to go right the first game and left the second game and right the third game and TBA for number 4. So that's about all we have, honestly.
I think when we talked to you after the Swatters Club, you mentioned Kojal is a guy that needed to swing the bat. It seems like he had a pretty good weekend this past weekend. Has he made it hard on you to force his way into the lineup?
Yeah, he's done a good job of if you look at it, through his eyes, he transferred in here from an SEC school, and he's a guy we recruited hard out of high school, and I think we came in second. And he goes somewhere else for a year, and he gets to play a lot, DHs a lot, hits 280, hits a few home runs, goes out and plays in the Cape, does okay. But he loves baseball, and he likes to work, and he hasn't complained. Sousa's played great since pretty much the day he got back, and it's made it tough on me trying to figure out where to play him. It's almost to the point where I might have to move him to another position a little bit. And he'll get to play some second base, but, where's his future? So I'll have these talks with him. We'll see how it goes. And is he going to be a third baseman, a second baseman, a corner outfield, or, is he going to be a catcher? I don't know. But the bat's coming on. He's not striking out, swinging and misses as much. He's powerful, but he's been going the other way. And, to us early in fall ball, and probably most of fall ball, then early in the spring, I guess January, when we got back and we're scrimmaging, I just think he overswings. He's trying to hit every ball 500 feet, and started making a two-strike adjustment. That's part of our offense, and if you don't do it, it's hard to play you. And I think he found out most of his good hits after January, or this January, early February, have been with 2 strikes. The game the other day, he got a single to right with 2 strikes. It's second at bat, the same thing, and shorten the swing. Don't swing so hard. We'll take that earlier in the count and to the box with you. And he's done a good job with that. But I appreciate the way he's just continued to work. And
Diggs, I know it's being 100% health-wise is one thing, but how close is he maybe to being back to his pre-injury self?
Well, what you do is, to judge that, evaluate, obviously use your eyes, but at the same time, you can, look at some technology and look at his bat speed, what his numbers were and where they are now. And they weren't up, the first couple of weeks, but now starting to get there. And I think it's showing up a little bit in his exit velocity and BP. How's it coming off the barrel? And he mishit a ball the other day. Not mishit, he got out front on a pitch and hooked it down the right field line for a home run, and hits the balls the other way. Obviously when the guy hasn't run and played in game speed, you can simulate as best you can. But the first week out, he kind of lightly tweaks a hammy, but it seems to be okay now. So we didn't run him real hard in the scrimmages, and I think he's going to be better than ever. I think he's got some people around him that are going to make each other better, because if he doesn't get it done, then that guy can get it done. There's more pieces to our offense than we had last year.
And Logan Maxwell's a guy that I think has been dealing with a hamstring or something, hadn't been running. How's he doing health-wise? What's his stats for this weekend?
And that's something he's dealt with in his career. And, he's very strong, lower half. This year, he's come in here and gained some weight, really a lot of strength in the upper body, but we leave his legs alone. He seems to be about 90% as of today. And if we played today, he would start offensively, whether he's DHing or playing in the outfield. He's one of our best hitters in the fall and early spring, and laid down an incredible bunt the other day and tweaked it on the way down. The good thing was he shut it down immediately, and that's when you kind of realize that maybe he's done this before, and but he'll be fine.
With his induction coming up, just was curious what you remember about coaching Jeff King.
Yeah. So, Jeff King and I kind of came in around the same time. I was in pro ball, came back to coach in January of '85. And Jeff was here, young player. And when Coach O'Brien turned the infielders over to me, then I had him full time. And we had a really good infield. All four of our infielders in the next year or two signed professional. And Jeff, you could just tell he was a little different talent. I mean, when he took batting practice, guys tried to pay attention because it was fun to watch. The ball came off his bat a little differently than some of the other guys. Had a really strong arm. He could run. He looked the part. And, it was interesting just watching some of the so-called brass come in from Major League Baseball his junior year to watch us play and practice. And I remember the day that the GM for the Pirates came in, and that was a lot of years ago, but I remember it because it was a big deal. You're thinking, wow, they got the first pick in the draft, and they ended up selecting him, I think 1-1 that year, and then obviously later in his career he was traded to the Royals, and he had a good career. He actually got out a little early. I don't think he was done physically, but I think mentally he had enough. And he's from Colorado. I think now he lives in Wyoming, and he hadn't been back to the campus since he left until maybe a year or two ago when he was honored for something. And just happy for him and his family. And he definitely needs to be in the College Baseball Hall of Fame.